I rated them toxins. Sports in the top 10. I can put the ball in the end zone, put a bad in the friend zone. Sound like an intro jet song, give me that tempo. Told Pooh he a fool. Told her don't let her friends know. In the Ville and I move like a dime.
Welcome, 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 everybody. You know what it is. It's your fall 2021 Pathways Orientation. Whoop, whoop. Okay. I see my people in the background. We are so happy to have you with us. Okay. Yet again, virtually, but it's all for you. Okay. So as you see, let's do this. Get into it. There we go. Next slide, please. All right, you know who we are, okay? We're the rapping twins. No, I'm just playing. But if anybody has not seen Coming to America or Coming to America, get it? Check that out. But yes, on behalf of your favorite Pathways advisors, Miss Tan Tidwell and myself, and we can't forget about the lovely Miss Denise Bergen. Wave at us. There she is, looking fine. We welcome you, right, to your orientation. So, Miss Tidwell, unless would you like to speak to your people? Holler at everybody.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Well, I hope you enjoy your fall semester. I look forward to seeing each one of you for our one-on-ones. And graduates, I can't wait to see you walk across the stage.
That's right, fall 2021 graduates. So check it out. Here is our agenda. So this particular orientation is for any student in Pathways who is in PD1, PD2, PD3, and or PD4. Okay, so if you're not in the PDs, you're in the wrong orientation. Go to YouTube, find the right one. Okay, so we've had our welcome. We're going to jump into some upcoming workshops, which I will yield the floor to Ms. Tidwell, and then we'll just continue down the very brief. Did y'all notice how brief it was? Brief agenda. All right, Ms. Tidwell, we got more offerings, more flexibility, and they're all virtual. Would you please tell us about our workshops?
So we have quite a few options. They're all virtual. As Ms. Treem said, we have ones talking about credit, debit, savings, investments, and then they repeat. What it looks like is a lot, but if you look at the dates here, there's two on the 17th, one at 10 and one at 1. So if you miss one, please feel free to hop back on at the 1 o'clock one. They will be recorded and put out, so you're also able to go back and rewatch them. Then we have one on the 24th, same thing, 10 and 1. And if you go down, they're all 10 and 1s. On the 15th, on the 22nd, on the 12th, on the 19th, and then the last one will be December 10th. You have ample opportunity to make up your pathway workshop requirements. There's multiple dates, multiple times, all sessions will be recorded, so there's no excuses. What's that? More?
Oh my gosh, more.
There's a more, Treem, there's more. These are some additional workshops that we've worked out with the Career Center. We have resume workshops, we have LinkedIn workshops, and then at the end of the semester in December, we will have mock interviews to prepare you for getting that job you want. Make sure you sign up for them. The links will be provided on those days or the day before, and this time will be determined at a later date. Any other questions you have, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Tree, myself, or Ms. Denise.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Ms. Tidwell. So moving right along, you all, we're going to talk about where to direct your questions, okay? Anybody feeling like the person in the meme? Yeah, that's it. We're going to talk about who, what, when, where, and how, okay? Next slide, please. All right, so briefly, when it comes to your certification exams, everybody watching this orientation is eligible to take them. So that's first off. Secondly, only request when you're ready to test. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back, because I know you probably weren't tuned in. Come back to your phone. Thank you. Only request when you're ready to test. Bars, okay? So fill out your entire test approval form, okay? Make sure it's done, because otherwise it'll get sent back to you. And then this is key, okay? Take your exam in timely fashion, please, okay? Because the last thing you want to happen is to find yourself in a position where it's like your test approval has been removed because you didn't take it in time. And then we find ourselves losing our money, and then Miss Denise has to find you and hunt you down. Lovingly. Wait, what's the word they say now? Respectfully. So please make sure that you only request to take your exam when you're ready to test, okay? Make sure you fill out the form appropriately, entirely, and then take your exam in timely fashion. Number 2, show up to your scheduled exam appointment. I know that sounds like, do you really have to say it? Yes, we do. Because sometimes extenuating things happen. You can't make it for one reason or another. So if you truly have a legitimate reason as to why you cannot make it the day of, you need to notify the center. You need to contact Dr. Lamb, and you definitely need to include Ms. Denise Bergen on that communication to Dr. Lamb. So what does that mean? You might need to look up where you're going to take your test because you already have it in your phone, right? You know, you're GPSing there, but you need to have the phone number, because if something really happens and you cannot make it, they need to know that you're not coming. And then you immediately need to contact Dr. Lamb and include Ms. Bergen, okay? And then also, if you're running late, I know you might not think that's that big of a deal, but it is, because your test is time sensitive. And if you get there before or after, like after a certain point, you may get turned away because you don't have enough time to take your exam, and then you lose your money and you find yourself in the same predicament of having to repeat this process. So please, if you're running late, notify the center. It's not necessary to notify Dr. Lamb or Ms. Bergen unless for some reason you are turned away, in which case you need to hit them up too, okay? Number 3, report problems immediately, okay? If something happens at the testing center, meaning the power goes out, okay? And it's like, oh shoot, I can't finish my exam. Or they tell me I need to come back, or I did get to finish it, but I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't, I was so thrown off. Anything can happen as far as a problem goes. You need to email Dr. Lamb and let her know that, hey, there was a problem at the center or while I was testing. And you also need to include Ms. Bergen. You need to do that ASAP. So if you finish your exam and the moment you get in your car, you get your phone back on, send that email. Don't say I'll do it later, because if you're like me, sometimes later just never happens or you forget, okay? Also, if you have concerns during your exam, you can notify the exam proctor. Don't sit there and think that you're just completely on a whim with no help at all. They can't help you with the questions, right? But they can help you if you feel like there's something happening and you just really need to express that. Go ahead and talk to the proctor, and he or she will let you know what the next course of action should be if you're not able to continue your exam. Don't think that you're alone. And please don't fail to communicate. It's so important. If you don't take away anything I said from this slide, request when you're ready to test, show up. If you have a problem, communicate about it, whether it's the center, Dr. Lamb, or Ms. Bergen, if not all of the above. You can
Agreed. Absolutely. Because what students fail to realize is if you don't show up on time, or if you miss your appointment, that counts as a try. You're going to get listed as a no-show. So it not only does that, you also lose your chance to have your test paid for, because Pathways will only pay for the first attempt, and that's considered a first attempt, whether you're there or not. So I usually tell students when they schedule, try to arrive a little bit early, because you just never know. You never know what may happen on the road on the way there, or whatever the case may be. And as Ms. Sharva said, absolutely contact your testing center, because we have no control about what happens once it is scheduled at that point. Dr. Lamb can advocate for you. However, it's really up to you to make sure that you're there on time and that you're ready to take your exam with all of the things that you need to take your exam, which is your identification.
I really appreciate you stepping in, Ms. Bergen, because like she said, it counts as an attempt. So just because you can't make it and you don't communicate about that, chances are you're going to lose an attempt, okay? Moving on.
And just to touch on what Ms. Treem and Ms. Bergen said, this is a quick update and a quick reminder that the department, not Pathways, but the department has instilled a new policy that if you do not complete your exams by the end of your PD 3, you will have to sit out a full semester before you can move on to student teaching in PD4. So please remember to take your exams, like Ms. Trim said, schedule them and actually take them in a timely fashion so that you do not have to sit out a full semester to complete your exams.
Ms. Tidwell, that was so powerful. I think you need to say it again in case anybody was, looking at something else on their phone. They got a text. Say it one more time, please.
Yes, this is not a pathways policy. This is a department policy. They have started to implement it, and it is here. It's not going away. Whether you received a waiver or you did not, if you do not complete your certification exams by the end of your PD3, you will not move forward to student teaching PD4. You will be required to sit out the semester before you can start your PD4. So if you know that you need time to take your exams, do what you need to do so you do not have to sit out PD4. Once again, if you know that you need time, please make sure that you do what you need to do. Schedule them and actually take them, because once you're at the end of your PD3, you will not be allowed to move forward into PD4 if all of your certification exams are not complete. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Trim, Ms. Denise, myself. You can even reach out to Sine or the department. But as I stated, this is not a pathways policy. This is department-wide. There is no going above it or around it or beyond it. You have to do it.
Well, and on that note, I hope everyone's paying attention. We'll know if we get, if our emails blow up at any time between now and, but okay, y'all, we got your back. Moving right along, let's talk about your professional development, okay? So when it comes to placement, right, you have questions about your district, you have concerns with the school that you're doing your observations in, or when it comes to your PD schedule. So what do we mean by that? Let's say that right now you're in an AM cohort for ESL, and let's say you're taking that at Kingwood, but for whatever reason, whatever circumstance, it's looking like you might need to take your classes at a different campus. Or maybe you want to switch from being AM to PM. That kind of change requires approval from Dr. Sine Brown and possibly even Dr. Fugate. Okay, so don't think that Ms. Tidwell and I are being mean when we say to you that you can't just change that. You already know that once you're in the PDs, you're locked into a particular cohort outside of pathways. So if you have questions or concerns about anything to do with placement, PD schedule, your district, right, your school, that you need to refer to Dr. Brown. We have her email there. You should also have it as well, okay? Now, when it comes to your field experience, so for those of you in PD1, this does not apply yet, okay? But for those of you in PD2 or PD3, you know what I'm talking about. Your field experience, that's your PED 4380 or 4381, okay? For those of you who are in Gators to Teachers, you have what's called a site coordinator, which is equivalent to the FEI that you used to hearing about, or that for those of you who are not in Gators to Teachers, you refer to them as. You want to talk to your FEI or your site coordinator for any concerns with your lead teacher or supervisor. If you have questions about your observation hours or more, that is who you direct that to. Don't go directly to Dr. Brown and say, hey, I'm having an issue with, my lead teacher, or I don't know what to do about my observation hours. She's going to ask you, hey, did you talk to your FEI or did you talk to your site coordinator? So please make sure you follow that. That's why we've got it. Take a screenshot on your phone, make sure that you have this information, okay? Now, what about if you have issues with like instructors, or maybe there's some unresolved conflict or something happened, right? The key word is unresolved. So what does that mean? You have to try and resolve it on your own first with your instructor. But if you feel that you're not getting anywhere, or you're not getting the results that that you'd like, I would encourage you to even reach out to Ms. Tidwell or myself to tell us what's going on. And if we can offer you any other insight, we will. Okay, if we need to bring Ms. Bergen in on the conversation, we will. But chances are, depending on what it is, okay, we might tell you, yes, go ahead and expedite that to Dr. Burnett Sanchez, okay, because she is the department chair. And so any concerns, any unresolved issue with an instructor is who you need to direct that to, okay? Any other observations here from my ladies? No? Okay, I guess I did it. All right, moving right along. Let's go. All right, so when should you contact your academic advisor? Because you're probably thinking, well, dang, I gotta go to Dr. Lamb for certification. I have to go to Dr. Brown when it comes to placement. I go to Dr. Burnett Sanchez if it's about the instructor. So what do I talk to y'all for? Ms. Tidwell and I will first. You talk to us because we're awesome, right? No, that too. Thank you. Yeah, I see you, girl. But you also come to us if you just think about it. If you have a problem in one of your classes, like we just discussed, maybe you're considering making a change. Let's talk about it, not just in your schedule, but maybe you're saying, you know what? I've been with these kids for a semester now. This is not my ministry. And I really think that I need to change my major and pursue something else. You definitely need to talk to one of us about that, because here's why. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna drop all these classes and pick up classes elsewhere. No. You are officially tied to the state. Now that you've you're in our TEP, our teacher education program, you are tied to the Texas Education Agency, and you can't just leave, okay? You have to have an exit interview, and that interview is done with Dr. Burnett Sanchez, who then says, okay, now you can speak to Dr. Lamb, and she has to go through her process to say, okay, now you can speak to your advisor again, who can change you from our program into wherever it is you want to go, okay? So we have to do our due diligence to make sure, one, you understand the repercussions associated with leaving, making sure that you have a plan in place for what you want to do, okay? And just remember that beyond anything else, our goal is to make sure that you are satisfied. This is your life. We are Urban Ed advisors, but we are not going to sit here and twist your arm and say, no, you've got to stay in this major. We want you to be happy because it's your life at the end of the day. But just know that if you're staying with us, we got you through and through. Okay, you also talk to us, obviously, about academic or personal concerns. Sometimes it's course related. Sometimes it's something more. It helps for us to know. We're not just trying to be nosy and all up in your business, okay? What do they say about the Kool-Aid? We all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. That's not what we're trying to do. But oftentimes by you disclosing certain things to us, that helps us to say, okay, here's some resources that we can do, or let's create this particular plan to try and help you through, okay? And then of course, when it comes to graduation, okay, whether you're in PD4, about to walk out the door, that rhymed, proud of that, or you're in PD3, so on and so forth. We have to talk about, if you have transfer credits, maybe you have questions about your DPR, your degree progress report. You need to talk to us about those things. Ms. Tidwell, any observations here? Okay, she said we're good. Thumbs up means we can move along. Hey.
I forgot. I will say there's something that you always say that has stuck with me is we don't know what we don't know. And that matters. We can't help if you don't tell us. So if you know you need something, reach out. That's what we're here for. If someone's, unfortunately, we've had students who have had family members that have passed away. We want to be there for you. We want to wrap our arms around you virtually, of course, and let you know that we are here for you. We're not just the people that help you pick your classes. Like Ms. Train said, to me, we're a part of your family. We're a family. We're Pathways family, and we want to be there for you. Let us be there for you. So we don't know what we don't know. So let us know.
Absolutely. And don't feel like you have to go at it, alone for the most part. We're definitely here to try and assist you and support you in any way that we can. So don't forget that. Big heart. Moving along. Okay, so when do you contact Miss Denise Bergen? I mean, she's so fine. You want to hit her up all the time. Oh, I'm with the bars today, y'all. But you especially want to reach out to our director when you have questions or concerns about your payment and scheduling. So we know that Miss McGrew has gotten another opportunity outside of the University of Houston downtown. We are so happy for her. So instead of contacting her after you get approval to take your exam, you now forward your approval from Dr. Lamb to Miss Denise Bergen. And you contact her when it comes to scheduling that exam and then getting Pathways to pay for your first attempt. Again, take advantage of Pathways paying for that first attempt. You need to also contact her if you have questions or issues at the bookstore. Whether it's like you're there and it's like, oh snap, you can also reach out to Miss Tidwell and myself by all means. But if you are having an issue there and Miss Sue, right, is not able to help you right away, I encourage you to reach out to Miss Bergen about books or supplies. Okay, you cannot purchase apparel, snacks, or anything like that, but you do have a good amount of things that you can purchase, and supplies is definitely one of them. Okay. And then, of course, problems. Let's say you have a problem with the testing center, like we alluded to earlier, something happens, you need to let her know. Or maybe you have an issue that could be centered around advising, or maybe it's greater than that, okay? It's not that we don't want you to go over our head, but if you feel that for whatever reason you can't bring your issue to Ms. Tidwell or myself, then you do have another resource in Pathways, and that is Ms. Denise Bergen, okay? And oftentimes, depending on what the situation is, Ms. Tidwell and I will bring her in anyway. That's just kind of how we work. Any observations here, Ms. Denise or Ms. Tan?
Oh, just so the students know, at this point, we've been doing this for some time as far as getting vouchers for the bookstore. Please know that you are allowed to purchase your materials for your class. That means the assigned books that your professor has designated for your particular class. If your book is not in the bookstore, that's something that you need to talk to the bookstore about. You also, what will happen is she'll contact your professor and have them submit their resource list. Normally that happens before school starts. However, it doesn't always happen that way. And sometimes there's a delay. And that's really nothing that we have any control over. We also don't have any control over if your book is not in the bookstore or if it's an online book. The way that our voucher system is set up, we have a contract with the bookstore, and that's how it essentially works. We cannot physically give students money. That is not the way the grant was written, and it's actually prohibited. So when students say, well, can I just pay for it and you can pay me back? We cannot do that. Same goes with your exam. We cannot have you pay for it and then ask for a reimbursement. Same thing with the books. The only way with the books is if you buy the book and you have the book in the bookstore, you can return the book for your money and use your voucher. Other than that, you must have permission for anything else. And that includes, there will be no purchasing of clothing, no t-shirts, no sweatshirts, no food or drink, and no electronics. The only minor exception for the electronics is a calculator if you need the calculator. And even then you may be prohibited. They may say, no, let me find out. So if you need a calculator, you can have them contact me while you're at the bookstore, because generally that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to purchase it anyway. There is a restriction on the students purchasing certain items.
Good deal. Okay, so now you know. Okay. And I know you probably, yeah.
So I'm a student and I'm in Pathways, and I went to the bookstore and I was trying to buy paper and color pencils and markers, and they told me I couldn't. Can I buy classroom materials with my book voucher?
Absolutely. Those are considered classroom materials. If the bookstore tells you no, you cannot, have them call me on the spot. They have my number. They know how to reach me. And essentially, I'm going to tell them, yes, let them buy that. So I encourage students to buy these things. It's a part of your resources. You're going to be using it for everything that you're going to be doing going forward. So definitely you are allowed.
Awesome. I love the hypothetical scenario because it's so true. It happens. All right, let's move on.
I just wanted to say, Kingwood students, please be aware you will have to physically drive downtown. You will have to get into your vehicle, shut the door, put your seatbelt on because you don't want to click it or ticket, right? Put your car into drive and drive downtown to meet with Denise. Yes, thank you, Treem. I like the 2 hands on the wheel. Don't one-hand it, guys. It's not safe. You will have to physically get into your vehicle to meet Denise. There is no Zoom. There is no option for, can I call it in? No, you have to physically get into your vehicle and drive downtown to meet with Denise to have Pathways pay for your certification exams. So just be aware. I don't know if you heard me. Put your phone down, look up, okay? Eyes here, locked. You have to physically get in your vehicle, drive downtown to meet with Denise so she can pay for your certification exams. Thank
And
you.
it's not so bad.
It's not.
Honestly, it's a good thing because you also get to see where your home department is. This is not something that you get on the Kingwood campus. So you see where your professors are, the chair is, other people that are related to your program. And also it gives you the opportunity to have access to certain materials. And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
And there's also a print lab if you need. There's a computer lab, there's a print lab all in the CPS building. So if you need to print something and you're already going to go downtown, every semester there's a fee attached to your degree, to your
Tuition and fees, yeah.
tuition and fees. Utilize that. Don't let it go to waste. Print a whole book. You paid for it. Shoot. Utilize that. Meet with Denise. Print some additional items that you may need for your class, for materials. Like Denise said, it's not all bad. Yeah, you have to go downtown, but make a day out of it. There's great restaurants. Make a day out of it.
Totally check out Roma's Pizza or maybe even Frank's. Just saying. Okay. So for those who are getting ready to graduate fall 2021, we see y'all. Hey. Congratulations, first of all. Make sure though, you're not there yet. Okay, we're super excited, but you gotta take care of your business for student teaching. You gotta make sure that you are passing your classes. We are doing our parts behind the scenes as your advisors, and then we'll definitely be cheering you along on the other side, but just make sure that you are handling your business, okay? Let's talk about Regalia on the next slide. So here's how it goes. Right now, okay, they still have yet to update the commencement website on the UHD page. So once they have that, you can just check back there, and that's where the details will be for the fall 2021 commencement ceremony. FYI, in case you're not aware, there's usually a graduation orientation as well that is not Pathway sponsored, that comes from the university. So check your emails, your Gator mails for that type of email as well, because you'll get that, I guess, as we get closer to that time. I don't have a timeline, I'm sorry, but as soon as it's there, once we see it, we'll share that with you all. Make sure you're checking your Gator mail for that. Any other observations, ladies? No? Okay.
I think I'll talk about it on this side, but go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about Regalia, okay? Pathways will only cover the cost of your Regalia if you have taken and passed all of your exams before the bookstore deadline to order them. So let's break that down. Let's unpack it, okay? So you have to keep in mind the bookstore deadline. But then there's another one. You also have to keep in mind that your exam results must be received by Dr. Lamb before the bookstore deadline. So, sometimes it takes a little while for that to come back. And okay, if you meet all of those, that's wonderful. then what will happen, and Ms. Denise will allude to this more, but you get a separate voucher that's issued for those who are eligible to purchase the regalia. But then we also have to look at the fact that some students are like, well, shucks, I haven't finished my exams, but I really want to take my pictures because I want to send out my invitations. Then you may have to consider paying for your regalia on your own. Okay, so that's just, our hands really are tied when it comes to that. We certainly understand there's nothing like the photo op looking great and sending that off to your loved ones to say, hey, come on and support me, throw some money in an envelope, you know what I'm saying? But just know that this is Pathways policy. Ms. Bergen?
Absolutely. For the most part, the deadline for the bookstore is pretty reasonable. They try to accommodate students as close to graduation as possible. Sometimes, if you have a special order, if you're extremely tall, for example, that absolutely is something that you may have to go through the bookstore and make sure you make that deadline. Every now and then they'll have extra regalia available where you don't have to come in and pre-order, but it doesn't happen all the time. And you have to also remember there are students who are also in the same boat. So they may be in the last minute finding out, okay, yes, I can graduate. Let me go ahead and get this. And I missed the deadline to order something specific, but I could still get my cap and gown. But it doesn't happen all the time. So I can't say it's a guarantee that if you miss the deadline, that there's going to be something available for you. Just know Pathways only pays for the cap and gown. Your stole, any cords, anything like that, that is your responsibility. Also, you are not allowed to use any of your funds to pay for that. You have to get permission. There is a separate voucher that is issued by me to the bookstore. You will also be copied to let them know that you have permission to purchase the regalia, and it will be of the cost of the regalia. So even if you have the money remaining in your account, do not do that, because that's considered apparel and it's not allowed. Got it? Don't make me come for you.
They don't want that smoke. I think we're good. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You said the bookstore deadline, right? That's the best time. I would suggest for all you students to try to have your exams finished at least 2 weeks prior to the bookstore deadline. So that way your grades come in, your exam answers come in before the deadline. So be smart about it. Have your exams completed at least 2 weeks prior. So that way, you know, if you passed and Dr. Lamb can have you certified before the deadline. Just want to put my little 2 cents.
That's a great, that's a good 2 cents. Okay, that was worth a whole lot more than 2 cents, let me tell you, because you have to keep in mind that there are other factors that we don't know. Heaven forbid Dr. Lamb gets sick, or, there are reasons that she is not at her computer, like a conference that's happened before, and a student's gotten their results back in and they're hoping. There's just so many factors. And so to be ahead of the curve is honestly best. We're not trying to put added pressure on you, but we just want you to be aware. Take all of these things and do with the information what you will, and know that if it doesn't work for you, you're still able to purchase the regalia on your own. But we offer that to you. Okay? Yes, big heart. Next slide. All right, so just a reminder, a plug. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell for our Pathways YouTube page. Even for those of you in PD4, we still want you to make sure that you are connected, especially so because in the summer, y'all should have all been there, we had a summer Texas certification exam orientation. So that's why we didn't go into details in this orientation. But if you're wondering, PD 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, y'all should know. What tests do I take? When do I take them? That orientation details that. If you're wondering, how do I request test approval? You can find it there. If you're wanting to know about UE study materials, you can find it there. If you're curious about remediation, what is it? Why do I have to do it? What do I have to do? Does it cost? All of that is there. And then if you're like, well, what do I do to get Pathways to pay for it? I know they said I have to drive, but click it or ticket. That's all I remember. But what happens? How does that work? It's all there. It's all there in that orientation, and you can find it on our YouTube page. Ms. Bergen?
We do have some additional resource materials for the testing. When you come in to schedule your appointment for your actual test, you can check out these materials. I'll have them available for you. I'm going to have you sign off because you're responsible for these books. Please do not write in the book. These are materials that are going to be used for your cohort. So use them as a source to study. You can study with friends. You can go to the tutoring center and work with a tutor if you want to. Just take the books with you. But by all means, definitely take advantage of it. Once you're done and you're completed your exam, just return the books to me. If you need to check out another set, we'll be ready to go. So we have materials for every exam that students in the teacher ed program have to take. So basically every single, down to the STR, even though you have the modules, we also have additional materials for that as well.
That was so nice. I think we have to say it twice. So she said that Pathways, okay, not everybody else, Pathways has study materials in the office that you can check out for every single exam, whether you're bilingual, ESL, 4 through 8, or SPED. If you need it, we got it. You can't write in it and you got to bring it back. Okay. So, hey, that was not in the orientation, but you're learning it here today in this orientation. Hallelujah. Okay. Moving along. All right, so we have some announcements. Please listen up, turn the volume up on your phone. Ms. Bergen is about to detail some important information about our program.
So as most of you know, we are a grant. Pathways to Teaching Careers is a grant that was funded by the Department of Education. So what that means is our project essentially was a 5-year grant. It's a Title V grant. If you're interested in what that means, you can go and look it up. But what that means is our project is essentially a 5-year project. We are on year 7. And why we're on year 7 is because we had a lot of extenuating circumstances that have interrupted our academic year. So all good things come to an end. Unfortunately, this is our last year. And that means our program ends at the end of the academic year, meaning next year, 2022. September 2022 is our close date. That is when the project officially ends. So I implore you, I beg you, students, please take advantage of everything that the project offers. And that includes the tutoring center. We pay for tutors to be there to help you. Take advantage of the beautiful Mrs. Tidwell and Miss Jarvis. They are here to support you. Take full advantage of your book voucher. Use the book voucher, get your supplies, do the things that you need for your class. Don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to it because it doesn't roll over. We want you to use it every semester. And also take your exam. I mean, why not? If someone's saying that they're gonna pay for my first attempt, that's $100+ that I don't have to pay for each exam. And for the STR, 140? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take my test. So you know, The policy has changed, so a lot of you all are already going to be doing that. But if you're able to start testing now, like our cohorts 3 and 4, do it. Because after September of next year, there will be no more pathways. There are other resources that are available, and what we're going to do our best to make sure that you guys have as much information to help you out as possible throughout the end of your academic career. We will be here to support you until the very end. So anything that we can do between now and to the time that we're done, we're going to do it. But you all have been awesome. So I definitely want you guys to absolutely take advantage. I know people are like, well, why can't we just get more money? It doesn't work that way. Not with this particular grant. This is not the type of grant that is renewable. This is a 5-year project. And as I said, we only had the extra years because Harvey and COVID. So after this, that's it. Department of Ed does not grant any more extensions to any projects of a 5-year project. So absolutely take advantage. I know it's sad news. I know you're concerned. I know you're worried, especially those students that are not close to graduating. But as I said, we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that you're still good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to kind of piggyback off of what she said, maybe you're thinking, well, where did that 5 years go? Well, technically, y'all, we've had 3 other groups to graduate before, our fall 2021 graduates. So we've been here, and, we got your back up until the bitter end. So please don't think that we're going anywhere just because, the grant ends on a certain day. We're going to be there until they put us out the bit. Well, you know what I'm saying. So for those of you who have hesitancy to take your certification exams, just know that, yes, we pay for that first attempt and you by all means want to maximize it and hopefully pass. But in the event that you're not successful, at least you would have taken advantage of the free opportunity to test, 1, and 2, then you at least can say, well, I know what to expect. So when I do have to come out of my own pocket, at least I know what to expect and kind of how to prepare. So please keep that in mind. Ms. Tidwell, any other observations here? Okay, we are going to go on to our final slide. I know y'all can't believe it's already here. Yeah, we just want to extend our deepest appreciation to all of you, whether you're PD 1, 2, 3, or 4. Just know that we love you, we got you. Direct any questions to the appropriate people as directed. We saw who they were. If you forgot, just, rewind it back. And of course, whenever you're unsure, don't hesitate to contact Ms. Tidwell or myself or Ms. Bergen. Okay, we got you. We're here for you. Man, it's nothing but love. Don't be, don't be sad. Don't be terribly sad. You can be a little sad because if you're not sad, I feel like, but just know that we got you, y'all. Okay, we are here for you. You know that we love you, and anything we can do to assist you, we're here for that. Any closing remarks from my ladies?
No, just that I hope everyone has a wonderful semester. Look forward to these awesome workshops. I'm looking forward to seeing your lovely faces when you come schedule your exam. And have a good weekend. Hey.
I'm very on the same page as Denise and Treem. I look forward to seeing everyone. I believe your first workshop is on the 17th, which is this Friday. So please make sure you attend. Treem and I will be sending out that information. I'm just excited for you guys. I look forward to seeing all of you in these streets, teaching our students. Treem and I both have kids in these schools, so we will be watching for you, okay?
Like this, yes.
I'm excited. I look forward to seeing you guys do wonderful things.
Absolutely. And if I can just tag this in, for those of you who are graduating fall 2021, whoop, whoop, be on the lookout for more information from us because we want to keep in touch with our alumni. And so once we have that information, we are going to send that out to you. So make sure that you join it before you graduate, because sometimes it's hard to track y'all down. I will pull up. I'm just playing. I mean, but I will show up for, like, you know, baby showers and housewarmings and things of that nature. But yes, we want to stay in touch with you. So just know that that information is coming. Again, on behalf of the University of Houston Downtown, the College of Public Service, Urban Education, Pathways, Miss Denise Bergen, Miss Tan Tidwell, and yours truly, Miss Trina Charvis. Thank y'all for joining us for your fall 2021 orientation. Now go off and do great things. We got some outro music, Miss Tidwell.
And my amigos got that free smoke on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm talking about pre-rolls. Dark hair, she look like she go. She do. Hometown hero, feeling myself, can't murder my ego.